today Bill has some stuff going on with builders or something. So I'm going to take the lead today for us and get us started. And Carol, why don't you say hello and share what you're excited about.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited to be here in Texas. We took a 4.5 hour ride over the last weekend to go see Bill's sister. And it was a whole different Texas than what I knew. We went through the most beautiful country. There was almost no traffic on these beautiful highways, no California potholes. I mean, it was magnificent. Both the trip there and the trip back was just so beautiful. And our place is just absolute chaos now, but it's going to be really nice where we're at. And I'm very excited about that. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Well, that's big time news. Well, yeah. I'm excited because this Saturday, if you don't know, I will be working with Bill to put on a skill builder about fidelity approval. And so if you want to know what it is, how do you get it? Why would you want it? Who can help you? All of those kinds of questions, I will be addressing those. And I will add to the PowerPoint when we do the recording, an actual package, what I had to do to get fidelity approved. Now, that package is not for you to go out and apply. That package is for you to see what you would need to do to prepare yourself for that process. So I'm excited. I'll be more excited when I'm done preparing it, but it's almost there. And so if you have not signed up for it, it's 9 o'clock California time this Saturday, the 21st. And I believe it's notarycoach.com/fidelity. I think that's how Bill set it up to get the link. Okay. And that link will be coming out later this week.
And Laura, let Barbara know, give Barbara the information so she can send it to our graduates.
Okay. You bet. Absolutely. All right. So you've got Carol and myself here to try to address and answer any questions that you may have. Couple things I want to say. One, if you want to ask a question of Carol or I, then you need to use the raise your hand feature, which of course is in the participants, and then click raise hand. Second thing is that feel free to also ask questions in the chat. Maybe somebody else will have an answer that you would like to pick up on, because although we try to get to everybody, we might not always get to everybody. Third thing is that there's no business naked on TNT. So cameras on, clothes are on. All right. And we'd like you to really get right to the question so that we can help you with the answer. And if we need more information, we'll stop you and say, hey, could you tell us more about this? Otherwise, just ask the question and we will respond to you. If I feel or Carol feels like you're getting off track, I might use the word, can I pause that and bring you back to what you were trying to ask us? And that way we can have everybody get a turn. All right, so I'm going to start with Mike, who has his hand up.
Hi, Laura. This is Mike. I'm in Arizona. And real quick question. On my way in this morning, I got a call from my Google business page from somebody who was asking if I do a full notary for an immigration certification. And he specifically said, not just a stamp and signature. And honestly, I had no clue what he was talking about. And I'm trying to get information. So I was just curious if anybody else or if you could have had any idea what he meant by a full notarization.
Carol, I've never heard somebody describe our work as a full notarization. So without more information, I have no idea what would be the difference between filling out the certificate and stamping it and something more than that. Okay, for an immigration form, right? For an immigration form? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Well, I have a feeling it's probably filling out all of the paperwork that's required, and you're not qualified to do that at this point in time.
Correct.
Anything when they start talking about immigration, unless you're an immigration specialist or have that kind of license, I wouldn't touch it myself.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.
All right. And just to add to that, some states prohibit you completely. Texas, I believe, is one that prohibits you from touching it. You can't even get a license or anything with it. Other states like California require that specialist bond and registration. And then there's other states like Florida that really don't have any kind of particular requirements. However, regardless of the state, as long as you're in the 45 that allow for it, you would want to have training, whether or not any kind of certificate is a requirement, because you don't want to handle those people's documents and make a mistake and they get deported. So
Great.
be
Well,
careful.
thank you for your help.
You're welcome. All right, Matt, you're up. Matt Miller.
Hey, Laura, how's it going? Hey,
it's
Carol, I
going
like
good.
your glasses today. I just wanted to share with everyone, I received an update from the Secretary of State's office literally 15 minutes ago in regards to extensions of expiring commissions. And
Yes.
unfortunately, I have bad news.
Oh,
They have no plans of issuing a third extension or soliciting for one from the governor's office. So take heed to what they say on their website, which is if your commission is expiring 6 months from now, you need to do your training and testing now. For example, mine expires May 18th, so I'm doing mine next month, so that magically in April it will just arrive and I'll have no interruptions in my commission. So wanted to give everyone an update. Sorry, it's not what everyone wanted to hear, but that's what it is.
just to clarify with what Matt just said, is that if your commission expired November 3rd or before, there was an emergency order that gave you 6 months to your expiration date. But if your commission expiration date started on November 4th or after, you get nothing. Your commission is expired. That's the first thing I want to clarify. Second thing is, even before COVID, Secretary of State has always recommended 4 to 6 months in front. And actually, I do mine 9 months in front as soon as I'm in that year, because when you do a live scan in California, when you do a live scan, it is good for up to 12 months to get that commission going. Okay, so you can really do it ahead. And if anybody needs assistance and you happen to use the NNA as your company to do your renewal process, let me know, because it is a little more complicated with COVID, and I can help you navigate that and make sure you get the test date, because that's what's hard to get right now. And I can help you do that. Okay, thank you very much for the news, Matt, even though it was not what we wanted to hear. Hina? If you would unmute. Are you with us? I don't know. Her whole thing. There you are. There you are.
Okay. My name is Hannah and I'm from California. And my question is in regards to the loan documents. When we are, most of the names on the signature line have first and last name. And their IDs usually have a middle name in it, in most cases. So what are we notarizing? Are we notarizing the entire first, middle, and last, or do we just reference what's on the loan documents?
Carol, would you like to address that?
Well, when it's more on the identification than it is on the documents, you're great. You're fine. You are notarizing based on the identification presented to you. You can have them sign as directed by the lender, but you're fine to notarize using their identification.
So write the first, middle, and last name, all of it. When
So
I'm like, you know where it says appear, personally appeared, and then their name?
Go ahead, Laura.
you want the certificate name to match the document name. And it's okay if the ID has more than that. That's what Carol was trying to tell you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So it's okay to just have first and last name in the loan document. So.
If that's what the loan document is, the rule you want to follow is how are they named? How's their name printed in the loan document? That's the name they want to see in the certificate. Then you're going to reconcile that with the ID. And if the ID supports it, great. If it doesn't support what's in the document, you're going to have to figure out another way. It might be a different ID or credible person.
Yeah, if you have a middle initial on the documents and there's no middle initial on the identification, that's when you need supportive evidence that they are who they say they are.
Okay.
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 Thanks
One
for
more,
asking.
one more quick question. I'm sorry. On this is, I think, Laura, this would be for you.
Uh-huh.
The form 593 for state withholding when you're when
Uh-huh.
a seller
Yeah.
is selling. In what cases is the tax exempt?
So that's not
Uh,
my business.
Okay, so it's
Not
they
my
need to
business.
decide
I
it.
don't tell them, I don't discuss that form in any way, shape or form other than you need to sign here and you need to answer appropriately. And you might have to ask your tax person
Okay,
to find out what the right answer is.
so they
I
need to
don't mess-
decide the
Yeah,
options to pay.
I'd like to answer that as well, because I
Uh-huh.
run into this all the time, having been in California Notary. That 593 is very tricky. And what you have to keep in mind is that the answers that they give on that tax form about the purchase of that property when they bought it can have a direct effect on their capital gains taxes. So what
Okay.
I advise my graduates to do is to alert them to that when they're filling in that information. If they don't know that information about what they sold, how much they sold it for, the percentage, or answer those questions accurately, they can either get a hold of somebody while we're at the table, their tax advisor or accountant, or I've had this happen so many times. Leave it with the sellers. Let
Okay,
them have a night to, talk to
look,
who advises them. Keep that document and then let them know they are responsible for completing it and sending it back to escrow ASAP. And then put a note on your documents that the sellers were not able to answer at the table, and that they will be forwarding that document, because this could cost them thousands and thousands of
yeah,
dollars if they're
that's what I thought. But if they have an LLC, they're exempt. If they're
Well, you
registered.
don't decide that. It's not
Exactly.
up to you. It's up to
Okay.
the sellers to decide what they're going to put in there. The difference between us showing them where they need to sign. I've said this a lot of times because it took me years to figure it out. We
Mhm.
do the what and the where. We're there to show them what it is that they're seeing and how to find it later on, basically.
Right.
The
Right.
how, the why,
That's not ours.
no,
Okay.
off the
They
table.
decide, basically. Right. Right.
So
Okay.
try to
Makes sense.
remember that. What, where, how, why, no.
Correct. Got it. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to Tam in Oregon. You unmute.
What a pretty smile.
Thank you, Cal. I don't know if you could answer the question right now, because it kind of goes by a question I asked last week, but maybe in the future you folks could do a show or a discussion in TNT about those who do this as a family, like you do it with your husband, and Carol mentioned she has done it with her, I believe a child.
Oh, my husband.
Yeah, but Laura mentioned.
Yeah, I have done it with my child. Yeah.
Yes, and so my husband and I are getting. I'm doing it, but he's getting into it. My daughter is, and I really want to. I feel we're all on the same page professionally and ethic wise, but I really would like to hear recommendations, advice, anything, because I know there was another couple here a couple weeks ago that are doing it about that. And so it might be too much to answer right now, but maybe in the future, please. So that's
Okay.
what I would like to know or suggest. So thank you.
All right. Thanks for sharing, and we'll consider that. All right, Lula, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hi there. My question has to do with filling out applications for like becoming a notary partner with other companies. If you can answer this question with Amrock, like they give like a certain fee schedule, and they said that if you're above, if you don't agree to their fee schedule, then they can't, like they won't pay you. But in looking at their fees, it just concerns me. I don't know if anyone has asked for more, and what's the maximum they'll accept, because like for the first mortgage refinance, it's saying $65. And
Okay.
I'm like,
So let me pause you, Lula. I do work
Okay.
for Amrock, and I will tell you, I do not take assignments for $65. So first of all, they want you to agree to their terms, and then you'll get a text or a call, right? However, you always have the opportunity when you get that to say, my fee will be this. All right. On every single assignment based on what the assignment is that they're offering you. So you always have that opportunity. I've never had an issue with them not paying me. They've paid me as much as $175. So it will be what it will be. It's based on how far do I have to drive? Is it a hybrid where I'm not printing documents? Am I printing documents? Is it a Quicken versus something else? So you will need to negotiate that in the call. You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Not right in the contract though. I shouldn't check all of that stuff off in the contract. Okay, I'll wait until I get an assignment from them.
Yeah, I do everything verbally. I agree to their stuff and they put me in there. Of course, it's been a long time. It's before, there's when they were Title Source, before they were Amrock. But when they call me every single time, I negotiate that assignment.
Thank you so much.
Carol, do you want to add anything to that?
No, you're good.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I see Darlene in Colorado. Would you unmute?
Hi there. Thanks for taking my question. I've done close to 200 loan signings in the last few months. I'm new, but they've all been refis, and I'm taking my first living trust on Friday and just wondered if there's any tips.
So have you had any training? Have you worked for an attorney? Have you ever handled a living trust, or do you have one of your own?
I don't. I'll no to all of that. Only thing I've ever heard is that you have to call and ask them how they want it signed.
So, okay. So first of all, there is
to talk about your library, Laura.
Yeah. So I do have a training. It's 2.5 hours for trust work specifically. And it's under Laura Biewer Presents. And it's a pre-recorded one of 10 videos, each one a different specialty. But that one particularly has sample documents, and I take you through a living trust.
Could you say that again, Laura B?
Laura Biewer Presents. And it is, you would go to notarycoach.com/LBP for Laura Biewer Presents, LBP. And then I'll tell you all of the topics. And if you use the promo code TNT, the coupon code TNT, you'll get a discount.
Great.
So that's the easy answer. The thing is you do want to have an idea of what you're dealing with when you go in there. I don't know if you're going to be doing this by yourself. Is this a signing company hired you or an attorney directly?
The signing company. So that's why I want to find out now. Maybe I need to remove myself from it.
Well, if you can get on and watch that video before Friday, I think you'll feel much more confident about what you will be looking at, because you're expected to present a document just like you would if it was a loan signing document. So you'd want to be familiar with the names. Also realize that there's going to be a pour over will, which is a last will and testament specific to a trust, and that's witnessed in California. Where are you again? Colorado. I believe it's also witnessed in Colorado. That's witnessed rather than notarized, so that your signers need to have witnesses available for that, and that you'll have a healthcare directive, which may need to be either witnessed or notarized or both.
Okay.
I promise you the video will help you. It's more than what I can do on this call.
I'll do that today and then decide if I need to maybe I just need to call the signing service and say I'm not ready.
All right, we'll take a look. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I have Latasha. If you would.
Yeah, Tasha, you got it right.
All right. And what state are you in?
I'm in Michigan.
Okay, I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm
Go ahead.
in
What's your
Michigan.
question?
Quick question. The notice to right to cancel, the 3 that come in the package that I'm presenting, 1 stays with them, and 2 stays with them and 1 comes with me, all okay to.
Latasha, you're frozen, so we can't understand you.
I think I know what she wants to ask. I don't know if she can hear me or not.
Give it a try.
Latasha?
Let them take all 3.
Latasha, if you can hear us, this is a common question I get from my students.
Let them have the ones that are in there.
I don't know if she can hear.
Yeah, I don't know. She's still talking.
Latasha, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I think I know what you're asking. It's a common question. When they give you, no matter how many they give you, now Laura and I disagree a little bit on this. What's actually required is that you have the borrowers sign, execute 3 copies each. 2 of the copies they will keep each.
Yes. Can you
In other words, they get, let's say you
I
have,
can hear you.
okay, let's say you have 6 pages of notice of right to cancel. Then each one has their own. The husband, let's say, will execute 3 copies and the wife will execute 3 copies. They will each keep 2 copies themselves that have been executed, no blanks, just the 2 executed copies. And then the single one that's left, that's signed by each one of them, will go back with your notary or to you back to the lender. It's real simple. Now, Laura says that if there's 10 of them in the file, she has them all executed and sends them all back except for the 2 that each of the borrowers retains. Is that not correct, Laura?
Almost, Carol. I do have them execute all of them and they keep all of them except the ones that have to go back to the lender.
Oh, it's the reverse. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no, never leave blanks, because there have been attempts by people who have borrowed money to cancel long after the rescission date by taking a blank notice of right to cancel and changing dates, putting dates in there to make it look like they're on time.
Oh my. Okay. Thank you so much. I didn't want to ask another one, but that does go to another debate that I had with another notary, that we're supposed to print and give them a copy of everything that we had. Now, I take out the instructions that are addressed to me, and they were saying, no, they're supposed to get a copy of everything that the lender gave you. So that kind of goes back to what I learned, to that notice of right to cancel comes out because you don't want to get blanks.
I don't know what Laura has to say, but I've always printed everything. I never withheld anything. I always
Absolutely.
printed
I
everything
print
for the
every single
borrowers.
document twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
All
you
of
so
it.
much, ladies.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. And I want to go back because I saw something in the chat. The question we answered about, or I answered about the trust, I thought the appointment was for a trust signing. But if your question was about a loan signing and they're signing in trust, then yes, you do need to find out how they're expected to sign. And there really is not much of a difference between that kind of loan signing appointment refi and any other kind. It's just questioning the signature, and they'll probably have a certification of trust document in there that they'll have to fill out and have it acknowledged, right?
You know, while we're on this subject, I'd like to interject something that I get questions, because I get questions every day. I mentor the students and everything. And one of the questions I get is, well, how am I supposed to check the power of attorney? How am I supposed to know that this trust is okay? When you're working with loan documents and you have a title company as a part of it, which normally we definitely would have, It's up to the title company to validate those documents. You never have to worry about whether the power of attorney is good or whether the trust is good or any of those documents. Those are validated by the title company.
That makes sense.
So take
Don't
that
take
off
over
your
the
plate.
wording what you can. Just make sure the damn thing's going right.
Oh, somebody's not muted.
Please make sure you're muted unless you're in the conversation at the moment. All right, thank you. Henry Felder. Are you there, Henry?
Yes, can you hear me, Laura?
I can hear you now. I'm just looking
Okay.
to find you. And what state are you in, Henry?
I'm in New York. I had something last night. I did my I had a refinance to do. So my 5 basic start out forms is the Patriot Act, signature, name, affidavit, CD, note, and mortgage. And then after that, I don't care what happens. So there was a discrepancy because the order was rushed and all the dollar amounts weren't correct. So when I started the assignment, I told him, well, let's go through this and then we'll reach out to the lender. So when I got to the note and I tried to explain it to him, I told him, this is your note, you're the lender, dollar amount, and when your obligations as a homeowner is you pay, you stay. I remember hearing you say that. Then the wife busted out laughing just from hearing that. She said, I'm going to use that from now on. So 10 minutes later, when her son came in from work, she told her son, you know, first of the month, if you pay, you stay. And so it made me think of you when you explained the note one time.
Okay, that is funny. Did you have a question to go with that, Henry?
Question I had. Oh, yes. ID. Let's say your ID, you're doing a signing and the driver's license expires maybe over the weekend, and like you're a day or two away from that. Is that ID still acceptable, or you only worry about that if the documents come back if there was a problem?
Yeah, the ID is valid the day you sign those documents. That ID is valid. Doesn't matter if it expires the next day.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure on that.
Mhm.
Is he asking though, is it valid a few days after it expires?
Well, no, I think he's just saying he'd only worry about it if documents came back and he had to redo something and now it was expired. Then of course
Right.
it's expired, you got to do something else.
Right,
But
right.
but if it's valid on the day that you're performing the loan signing, then there's not an issue, even if it was going to expire the next day.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to be clear on.
All right.
Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Susan Plummer. Go ahead and unmute and tell us where you're from.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I actually set a note in the questions for the chat just in case you didn't get to me. But my question is, this is general notary work, and you may have touched on it with Darlene in Colorado. She was asking about that, a similar question. But I have been looking into doing notary signings for advanced directives at hospitals. And I've been told by some people that work there that the notaries they use for that charge between $50 and $70 a signing. And my question is, because the Secretary of State here, we're only, from my understanding, allowed to charge $10 for general notary work. How are they charging $50 to $70?
Susan, what state again are you in?
Arizona.
So Arizona, I'm just going to tell you what I know about your statute, which is it's $10 for the stamp or the notary signature, even if you have multiple signers in that certificate. And the second thing is you can charge the mileage reimbursement. How are notaries getting away with it? I have no idea. I don't live in Arizona. I don't know if the Secretary of State is checking. I don't know how they're doing it. No idea. Okay. All I can tell you is what I know the law says.
That's what I mean.
You know something different?
Nope.
No.
I know that my daughter-in-law does notaries there, just general notaries. She never gets less than $50.
And she's in Arizona?
Yes, Peoria.
But she may, along with others, just do it and hope they never get caught. Because there's nothing saying it's okay.
Well, there's actually a company there that pays her. It's a signing service that pays her. I don't know the name and I wouldn't say it anyway, but yeah, she did it years before, then they moved and now she's back in Arizona and it hasn't changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loan signings are different
Right.
because we're being paid to, print documents, orchestrate the appointment, and do a lot of other things. If you were sent by a signing company to take care of an appointment at a hospital, I would think that there's built in more because they get a piece. And besides the travel, I don't know if they're asking you to print the document.
Yeah, well, this is actually direct, and my understanding is that the documents are already there, ready to be notarized when you show up.
I don't see anything that says it's okay to charge more. I'm not saying it's not happening. It obviously is. I don't know how they're doing it.
Okay, I mean, there's nothing you can charge and call it some sort of administrative something or
I'm
other.
not aware of anything in your statute that allows to call it something else. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Bill
then
might be a better person to answer that because he is in Arizona.
I know. I was like, oh, he's not on today. I've
Yeah,
been watching you for a couple of weeks.
Right.
My other question is, so the site that you mentioned, Darlene, to go to get some training off of your site, do you cover things like that, advanced directives and?
Yes, I have one video on powers of attorney, advanced healthcare directives, another one just on last wills, and then the other one is trust. So it's like 3 different videos.
Okay, great. I will check that out. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, let's see who we got. Mike Howard.
Hi, Laura. Just another question. I'm still in Arizona. I had a split signing last night and confirmed everything with the husband, and I'm signing with him. His wife is in Oklahoma, and as we're going through the document, he made a comment that the wife's name is misspelled. And I put up a comment in SnapDoc, tried to get a hold of the lender, and I didn't hear anything, so we just continued to sign. And I sent it off to the other notary. My assumption is since it's a split signing, they can fix it, but I feel like, I did everything I could have. Should I have done anything different?
Carol, you want to address that?
Sure. Mike, you did your part. You had no business trying to correct her name or anything. The next notary is going to have to deal with that part of it.
Okay.
You might give them a heads up and let them know so that they can alert the title company and maybe, if something needs to be changed. But
I actually tried to reach out to the other notary, but I couldn't get them. I Googled their address and I even included blank certificates for them, but I figured I did everything I could.
It sounds like you did. Yeah. It's some things you just can't change. You have to deal with what is directed at you and let somebody else fix, their difficulties or problems.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Carol?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Deb Thomas. I had one of those instances myself where the wife's name was incorrect. They had put the husband's first name as her last name. And it took a while to get hold of title and stuff. And fortunately, I was compensated for it, but I did have to make 3 trips as a result on my end of it, on that split signing. So,
and things can go awry on split signings. I had a couple mentoring today dealing with split signings. They're actually easier than what people think they are. I think most of my graduates make like a bigger deal out of details that they don't need to be worried about. And so sometimes the simpler thought is the more accurate one, but there's some things you just can't control.
No, I realize that. I just was commenting on that they may have him go, they should compensate him for it, but they may have him go back out with the name correction because you can't make the changes on those documents.
Very likely. Yep.
Once more, only reason why I brought that up.
All right, thank you. Brittany, California, would you unmute?
Hello.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi, I needed an opinion. It's similar to Mike's. I've been doing this for a few months now, and everything's been going great until this last week. I had 3 different signings where the names were misspelled or incorrect. One company, because they were removing the husband off of the signing, just told me to scratch out his name and have the other signer, the wife, initial it. The other 2, I tried reaching out to the numbers they gave me. No one responded for about 12 hours. So I went ahead and had the signers sign everything they could, scratching out the other person's name and initialing it. And kind of got on one of them, I kind of got reamed by the company. They told me I should have canceled the signing right then and there. But the signer had driven 2 hours to meet me to get the documents taken care of. So I'm just asking opinion-wise, best practice, should I have canceled it as soon as we came to that issue?
Carol?
It's a hard choice. It's a hard choice to make because you never know what the reactions are going to be if you go ahead and continue and make the corrections yourself. And what we're dealing with is more and more companies who are not answering their phones. It's not like the good old days when you could call and, you know, get somebody to help you out. If it's a minor change, I had one exactly the same thing this morning. It was a split signing. They had the wrong initial. He could not get a hold of the signing service, the title company, nobody. My advice was just to go ahead and cross off the initial and have the person write in their correct initial and initial it. Hopefully that'll work. With most of the times that will work, but there are companies like Provident, you can't do anything like that, even if it's their mistake that they made. So you just kind of have to, if you don't know the companies that you're working with, I say make an attempt to make those documents good. The worst that can happen is that they reject them and they're going to have to pay you to go back out again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
How
what I
about
thought.
you, Laura?
Yeah, I agree with you, Carol. If I'm not able to resolve it because I can't reach anybody, then I look to see, is this something that I could make an accommodation or correction and it would be fine. And then it's a 50-50 shot. Whether or not, you know, I could have canceled it, I could have continued. One time they're going to say, why didn't you keep going? And another time they're going to say, why didn't you cancel? You know, you just don't know.
We were in an office one time, actually at the mortgage broker's office doing a signing in the evening. A fellow came in, we had the documents, everything was great, except his middle initial was wrong on all of the documents. The lender, the guy who was actually the loan officer was there. And I said, is it okay for us to cross this off because the documents are wrong? He says, oh, sure, go ahead. So we sat there, we did the whole signing, and they called us the next day. And guess what? It was Provident. And they said, and they made the mistake. And they said, we can't accept these. They wanted us to come back and redo a whole new set of documents, even though it was their mistake. They had no intention of paying us. Well, not with me, they don't. So we went back and we got paid and we corrected their mistake and it was okay, but it was very frustrating dealing with them. So you know, it's just a halfway, you know, one thing, what do they say, half a dozen or you know, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. You never know.
Exactly, you don't. And you know, everything isn't, you know, a bed of roses for the kind of work that we do, right? You know, I love what I do on the whole, but sometimes these are the things that can get to you. All right, Patty. Patty, would you unmute? And
Hi, Laura. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
I'm in Oregon. So I had a question back on the POA. I get that the title companies sent those, but I got a call last week from an asset recovery company in Michigan somewhere and asked me to do a signing, said just a couple of documents. The gal will be signing as POA for the mom. And then sent me the documents. I tried to reach out to her. And then I got an email from him saying, oh, and please get a copy of the death certificate for this person's name. And this is the person that she is signing as POA for. And so I just sent an email back and I said, as you know, power of attorney ceases when the principal dies. So I don't think that this can be completed. And then I never heard anything back from them. So my question is, when you're doing somebody signing as POA and it's not in a loan signing transaction, do you somehow verify that they have that power of attorney?
Unless your state requires you to do it, there's only about 10 states that do. The rest of us were not required to verify if they have the authority or status other than our recommendation, which is that you ask them, are you saying you have this authority? Now that's assuming the person is alive. If the person is deceased, then they're using the wrong status. Maybe they're the executor, maybe they're the trustee, but they're not the POA anymore.
Right. I've seen them, sign as settler of an estate.
Right.
But, they can't be POA if the person is deceased, correct?
That's right.
Okay. And just one thing on the right to cancel thing, I was coming back from the title company this morning and got a call from Doc Pros, and they said, hey, that signing you did on Friday, we only got back one right to cancel. What happened to the others? And I said, I left them with the signers, as is standard practice. And she said, oh no, we always want all of ours back. They have their blank copies. And Equity does the exact same thing. They want them all back and just leave the blank copies. So
if you get instruction from a particular company that that's how they want it, have them, don't leave blank copies, first of all. Make sure they're all executed, and then they can have theirs, what's required by law, and you can send all the rest back.
yeah.
Why are we?
Yeah, if they tell me, then I send them all back. But if they don't tell me, I just do
And
the
you don't
standard.
know.
Yeah.
Right. And those are not notarized, so it's a pretty easy fix.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Why are the ones we leaving?
Okay, whoever is talking, we really can't understand you. It's not coming through. So I'm going to go to the next person, Katrina, who raised her hand, and ask her to unmute.
Right to cancel.
I'm sorry, Jay. Jay, have you raised your hand? Okay, he's muted now. Go ahead.
Okay, hi Laura. I'm in Texas. How's everybody doing? This question is about general notary work. I had a client. She was an elderly lady, and she was trying to fill out an affidavit for a motor vehicle. Her husband had passed, so I guess, and she had an accident, so I guess she was trying to get the title transferred or whatever.
Sure.
But my question to you is, I had to go back out twice, and she got 2 different responses about what happened. So the first time I went out, I told her that we weren't able to leave any blanks on the document. So there was a space for Air 2 and an Air 3. So she took her pen and put NA through both of those spots. And then when she spoke to the company, one individual said that her affidavit got kicked back because she placed the wrong name on top on section 1. She didn't write her husband's information. And then another individual told her that she got rejected because she wrote NA on the document. So am I taking it wrong about literal no blanks, or because it was a state of Texas form, it was an affidavit for motor vehicle. It came from the state of Texas. So I'm trying to see why is there conflicting information about no blanks, and then, well, we're not going to accept it if you put NA on it, or.
Right. So we're not the DMV for Texas, so I can't tell you what was going on there and who was right and who was wrong. I don't know why you got 2 different answers on that. Most likely she probably put the wrong information at the top. In terms of the blank, we don't tell them to put N/A. We tell them to address it in some manner. However, that is the signer decides to address it.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if she put N/A or put a strike through it, either one of those would have been appropriate for us, unless there was instruction that said that was being reserved for space that was going to be utilized by the DMV, then of course that would be fine. But if it's Air 2, Air 3, that's obviously for her. So
Right.
it
She
sounds
was,
like she did it right.
yes, she was the only error. She filled out her information in error 1, but like I
Okay.
said, we got 2 different answers.
Right.
So I was just trying to make sure I'm not being too literal on the no blanks part.
No, if the blank space is intended for the signer to be filling out information, then those are the blanks we don't want to have left open. If there are blanks that are not intended for the signer, it's intended for the receiving agency to fill in, then those would be okay to leave blank.
Right. Understood. Okay. Thank you, Laura.
All right. Oh my goodness. Is it Milan from New
Why
York?
is it, really quick, why is it important to execute the notice of right to cancel on the ones left with the signers?
Well, we don't want them to put in alternate dates or make mistakes on it and then they want to cancel and they use it and it's bad. It doesn't match what we turned in.
I mean, how are they gonna make a mistake?
They could write in the wrong
3
date.
business days.
They can write in the wrong date. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, and if you don't mind if I chime in here too, Laura, so
Go ahead, Bill.
the document has to be fully executed. If you just leave a blank document, then it can be whatever it was. Like if they want to use that cancellation, they say, yep, I'm changing my mind. Here's my right to cancel. It needs to be, they need to provide a copy that was dated the date of their signing to make that. And they hardly ever use these anymore, but that's just the theory behind it. If it's not a fully executed document, it's worthless. So it has to be fully executed.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
I'll chime out again. Sorry, I got workers here.
All right, but you're with us, huh? Well, we were on Milan from New York, I think.
Hi, this is Milan.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. You need to unmute yourself again.
Okay, can you hear me better? Okay, fantastic. Do you have any recommendations to learn about apostilles? Any courses?
Well, there's Judy Lawrence in New York, who with the Notary Institute, and she teaches a full course on apostille work. I could recommend her. I have taken it.
Oh, good. Okay, awesome. Would you kindly unmute me because I'm driving and I can't look at the screen and there's a cop behind me, so I don't want to look at even my phone.
You'll need to reach out to me. You can email me if you want, but I'm not able to do anything else for you right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Isa. Is it Isa? Unmute.
Isa from Florida. Hello.
Isa, thank you, Isa.
Yes, hello everyone. And Laura, I am actually going through the Laura Biewer Presents series of videos. And I went through the power of attorney one. And I have been doing a lot of those signings. And I am in Florida. And there were some sections when you were saying that some of the power of attorneys need to be acknowledged or witnessed or witnessed, but it depended on the state. So I went through the statutes for Florida and I could not find any reference to power of attorney to see what it was that the state wanted. Is there any other clarification?
So are you looking at notary statutes?
Yes.
Okay, well, you're not going to find it there because anybody's notary statutes, it's not about documents. You need to go to probate code or wherever the law is about those kind of documents.
Okay.
That's where you'll find information about wills, powers of attorney, healthcare directives.
So find out what the probate code is and then go through that and find the details. Okay. I was stuck on that one, but that is good. I'm going through it. Just started to do the one for the trusts and it's really, really good information. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Pam? Pam, are you with us?
Laura?
Yes.
I'm on a phone call right now. Can you come back to me?
I will come back to you.
Thank you.
Next is Maria.
second. I gotta unmute.
Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. I had a couple of questions. I did an advanced healthcare directive form a couple of weeks ago, and I had a question on it because another notary walked me through it, and I was a little confused on a couple of things. Does it need to be witnessed in California?
It can be witnessed by two people or notarized by one notary.
Okay.
And yes. So there you
Okay. And then my other question, we also did a power of attorney, and she had me notarize the acknowledgement of agent. Is that required?
It depends on the version of the form. Most of them do not require notarizing the signature of the agent, but I have seen a version where it does include that. So if the form includes that, go ahead and do it. It's not going to hurt anything.
Oh, okay.
Even if they ask you to do it, and it's not set up for that, you can add your own certificate and put their name on it. It's not going to hurt anything to notarize the agent's signature.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Is it Rena Wyckoff? I'm saying your name incorrectly.
It is actually,
Anna?
yeah, it's Renee.
Renee, okay, thank you.
And hi, I'm from Texas. I'm from Dallas. And I'm a recent notary to pro graduate. So I'm just starting. And so my question is, I have a full-time job. I do this at night and on weekends. And I don't have a website yet. I'm trying to get a website together, trying to get my business cards. Should I be signing up with, all of the Notary Cafe, all of the 123 Notary? Should I be doing that now, or do I wait until I get everything together? So I can, if I get an assignment, I have a business card, I have a website, or can I just go ahead and sign up and just start? What is the recommendation on that?
Carol, since she's a notary to pro, would you like to answer?
Sure. Your website and any of those things can wait. You want to get yourself set for business first. Make sure that you have all of your equipment ready to go and everything. Then you can start reaching out for the companies, and then you can, I always suggest a website. And by the way, Barbara does beautiful work for very little money because it makes it very professional for you. But you have to take it in steps. Make sure that your equipment is working, test your printers out, to do everything that you can to get so ready that they'll call you, because our graduates are getting calls within a day or two after graduating, honestly. And if they're not ready, then it's kind of looks bad. So that's
and
what
I was on the
suggest.
call on Sunday where people were talking about a poly pack, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So, like, what do you need for sending the documents back?
Well, we have videos and stuff on that. Give me a call.
Okay.
Because we need to sit down and talk, and I'm here for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Carol. John?
Yes, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha, John.
I want to got one simple question. My signature, I changed it slightly. Do I need to do anything else, or just keep on using the new signature? I did make some changes on my signature. The signature after
you changed your signature?
Yeah. I did make some modification on my signature.
And John, what state are you in?
California.
So here's the risk you run if your signature is different than what's on file with the county clerk, is that it will not be recognized on documents that are recorded. So you might want to check in with your county clerk where your signature is on file to see if they're going to consider that too much of a variation, and then that you would have to I don't know, re-sign your bond. I'm not quite sure what they'll make you do, but I would check that, because that is an issue in terms of recording documents, and loan signings, we always have recordable documents.
Well, the change itself, is it's very minor. If I put both of them in front of you, you will not know the change unless I tell you. So the change is not noticeable.
All right, John, what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that if it is enough of a difference from what's on file, that
Yeah.
the people at the desk there think that it is not your signature, you will start having rejections. I'm not saying it's enough. I'm saying
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm not seeing it. And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what I think. What matters is what the county recorder thinks, where they have your signature on file. So that's really what you need to check out, in my opinion. Carol,
Okay.
do you have a different take
Yeah,
on
I
that?
agree. If it's just a slight change, but if you've eliminated an initial or changed it, you
Oh,
have
no.
to sign as you did on your commission. And if it's much different, then you may have a problem with the county recorder. I agree.
Yeah.
So that's who you should check with.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. Yeah, we still got a minute or so. Lisa Haskins.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, as a brand spanking new notary, I got commissioned right before COVID took place and my paperwork got left in my desk at work. So I just got it back. I just getting
Yay.
started. Thank you. I just got
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. My business cards came today. I'm so excited. But I have 2 questions. I'm in New Jersey. Number one, I know you've heard it a million times, but how do you find a mentor? Do you go to someone you know? Is there a list of people to choose from? How do you?
Well, there, there's a couple ways. Of course, you could be, first of all, I don't think there's a list.
Okay.
There's no list that I know about.
Okay.
Second of all, you could be checking out the different YouTube videos to see who's out there and presenting themselves as such. You probably want to think about what would you want in a mentor or coach. Their style. Are they in your state, or are they showing knowledge of your state? Their experience and track record. Are they doing what it is you want to do? These are the things you want to be thinking of on it. Of course, you've got Carol, and you've got Bill, you've got myself, and there's some other ones out there as well. But you really are going to have to do that yourself. Carol, would you like to add about how people should be choosing, or what to look for, or how to find?
Well, I can tell them what not to do. Of course, I'm going to tell them, Notary to Pro. We're top of the chain now. We're doing really well, but yeah, we deal with new people all the time. But I can tell you what not to do. Don't go to someone who says, "Oh, I've been doing this for 15 years. I'll be happy to teach you." That's number one. Because these old notaries, they go their own way, and oftentimes they're doing things totally wrong. I can't tell you how many of my graduates come back and they say they've gone and done somebody's refinance, and the people tell them, "Oh my God, I've done this 4 times and nobody ever made me take an oath." Things like that. So you want to be very, very careful about who you do.
Yeah.
Don't pay somebody a lot of money. You're not supposed to be following anybody around, because it's a big deal about consumer privacy and safety right now, and should be. So you've got to be really, really careful. If you have a good friend who is already a signing agent and they're doing well and you trust in them, maybe they'd be willing to work with you. But unless you're related to the people and you want to go into somebody's home with someone else and they can say, "Well, this is my sister and she accompanies me," it won't go well for you just to tag along with people. So mentoring is difficult. I mentor my students for that reason. They set up appointments or they call me if they're at a signing. And I know Bill and Laura both we're all 3 of us are true mentors. We really care about people. So if you haven't been trained, you need to look for whatever suits you. And there are other trainers out there beside me who are foundation people. But you have to decide for you. Some are very energetic and, do one thing. I'm kind of more slow paced, but old fashioned. So you just decide what you need to do.
Thank you. I wasn't
But you're
sure.
going to be fine. You're
I
going to be
wasn't
good.
sure if you're supposed to go with someone you know, or if you choose, like I thought there was a list, I wasn't sure. So thank you for clearing that up. And my second question and last question, regarding mobile notaries. I was looking online last night at the Secretary of State on New Jersey, I think it was, and it tells you you can charge $250 for general notarizations.
Yeah.
But when I was looking for if you can charge for travel, there was a line through it. It didn't have any other information. So are you not allowed to charge for traveling, or do you not do mobile
You can
notary?
charge.
You can.
You can charge in New Jersey. Yeah, they just don't have a statute.
Yeah, it didn't have any
Limiting
information
it.
at all.
There's a
It
lot
just
of
had a
states
line
that,
through it.
yeah, there are a lot of states that don't have a particular statute addressing or limiting it. You heard us talk earlier about Arizona. They have a very specific thing that says, here it is. The things to remember is that they have to agree to the travel and that you have to tell them it's separate from the notarization. So those are
Right.
usually the 2 points that are important to make every time.
And how do you determine what to charge?
Well, you're an independent contractor, so you're going to have to decide a few things. What is it costing you, to do the work, and then plus some kind of profit margin in there. And you might want to look around to see what other notaries are charging in New Jersey. But yeah, you have to decide that. There's no list for you to go to on that either. And when you have a small amount, like $250, I get $15. So it's a real income booster for me. But like Chicago, I think it's like $1 in Illinois. So sometimes it's not worth charging for the notarization. Rather, it's just one big convenience package. Hey, I'll come out and take care of whatever you need, and it's going to be this much money.
Right.
And you're giving away basically the notarizations because it's not enough to worry about.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, both of you.
Hey, Laura, before we
Yes.
go,
Yes.
ask me what I'm excited about right now.
Again, what are you excited about, Carol?
Internet. I've got internet.
Say that again? I cannot understand what you're
years of
saying.
fighting with the internet. Yay.
Carol.
Yes.
You're so excited. I cannot understand what you're saying.
Oh, internet.
Internet. Thank you. I couldn't get it.
Internet.
I'm like, okay, something exciting. All right, we have come to the end. I'm sorry. I apologize to those who are still left. We tried to move through as quickly as we could to get to everybody. We will be back here, same time, same station, 12 o'clock California time next Tuesday. Please join us. Thanks
And
for
I
being
do
with us
have,
today.
can I make a real quick announcement?
Yes.
Okay, for you new graduates, my students, we have roundtable this week, Thursday. Just wanted to remind you.
Okay, I'm going to leave you with a thought. It's all backwards. Can you read it? I don't have mirror on. Yes.
What would I love?
What would I love? What would I love? Think about that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we'll see you next week.